Welcome.
Look well. See what you have made of me. But see too what great Bereth has permitted. I am returned, mind and soul, so that I might be avenged upon my enemies. I have strangled the life from the usurper Kolsch with my own hands. So fell your champion. Your great hope. I will not allow my lands to fall into ruin. I will cleanse the scattered god's poison from the blood of my people. I will scour his name from the Deerwood. Bereth has blessed me with its favor, and I will be its sword. There will be no more mercy for the heretic, the thief, the charlatan. All will meet with death.
Stand together!
Many blessings, traveler.
Many blessings, traveler.
down here. Someone must go to the nest eventually. Just how are we supposed to worship the Sky Mother from among the weeds, This is a disgrace.
Calm yourself. We should be grateful that she protected us from the winged terror. Besides, even here we have a visitor. A dragon. One that has taken up residence in the nest, the true temple of Helia, and slain many of her faithful. And one which a new one has been in favor of killing from the beginning.
But no, you advised caution. Now word spread that the dragon ate a few of our followers, and anyone willing to slay it wants an Anumfoth's ransom for the job.
I told you a larger party wouldn't stand a chance. By the time the first half reached the top of the mountain, the second half would still be stuck in the pass. They'd be burned alive. Contrary to Anuin's suggestion, I am in favor of sending someone to kill the dragon. But I suggest a smaller party, and one willing to seek Helia's blessing.
You could.
What she means is that this is no mere drake, but a fully grown dragon, and one that has willingly moved into a populated area. You'll want every advantage at your disposal, including the blessing of the Sky Mother herself. I would suggest that you petition her directly at Ter Evron, if you haven't already.
You have stayed true to our cause, Inquisitor, when so many others have not. For every heretic we confess, for every betrayer that burns on our pyres, new sheep continue to flock to Iavara ex Incios. But not you. I underestimated you in the beginning, but no longer. It is not for honor that I summoned you today, but for duty. Too many of our own have confessed upon the wheel and the rack and the flame. Too many of our faithful have had their minds poisoned by the Kratom witch. The tide is against us now. We have but one option. Iavara's following must see her exposed for what she is. She must confess her heresy before my court. Not in Kratom, surely. Their lord has embraced her heathen faith and protects her with his army. But in Oceanus, things would be different. The king of Oceanus is a sinful man. We have helped him to see the error of his ways, and now he fears for his soul. He would pay any price for absolution. You have already done much for the Inquisition. I wouldn't ask this were there any other choice.
Turn around, flesh creature. Outsiders are not permitted to approach the elms.
Do you not feel it, sister? Something familiar. An ancient soul, like the other one. Another defiler, no doubt. Let us fell him and be troubled no more. It would pay the debt of his predecessor.
So it would seem, Rhiannon. But we must not hasten to judgment. I see a different motive here. Different questions in these eyes.
What of it, young trespasser? Is it as my sister says? Or are you here to stain this place with foul deeds? Spoken with the transparent eagerness of one whose deformed little stamen has never successfully transferred gametophytes to even the most desperate of pistols, and who wouldn't know a carpal if an herbalist drew him a map.
You must excuse my sister's temper, old one. Trust me when I say that my sister and I have truly heard them all. Fortunately, you are easier to read than my sister. You are here for the man Theos Arcanon. This is clear to me. The answer is yes, Old One. We crossed paths with Theos not long ago, and we can tell you where he went. But I find it curious that anyone would seek him out. Suspicious, even. If we are to help you find him, we would know why. So that is the reason he passed this way. This is low, even for the Leaden Key.
I told you we should have confronted him, Sheila. He has always been a poison.
It would have been the last thing we ever did, sister. Who can be said to have ever gotten the better of Theos?
Yes, but imagine how much fun it would have been. Can't you just picture him all strung up in vines like an angry little puppet?
But that's not what this is really about, is it? You are bound to that man. I see it now. You are awakened. Your soul is awake, and something once buried deep now wells to the surface. Past overwhelms present, closes in around you. Your time has nearly reached its end. I am sorry to tell you this, but Theos cannot give you what you seek. Nor can any man. An awakening cannot be undone, any more than your past can be undone.
The soul is formless without a past to shape it. Did you truly expect to be able to wipe it away? He is beyond forgiveness, for his deeds are beyond repair. Is that so? It would seem that way to me as well. But if that is true, then the two of you may be connected more closely than you realize. However, as much as my sister speaks truly that there is no way back from an awakening, there may yet be a way forward. Would you agree, Shiva?
I would. Were the way not so likely to end in death.
It may, but not all deaths are alike, and the man you pursue is versed in thousands of them.
The man Theos you must already know by now. You are linked by a common past. Something about it lingers within you, festering, unresolved. What it is I cannot see any more than you. And without that knowledge, your doom is certain. But were you to learn the source of this discord, perhaps it could be put to rest. Though it is equally possible it will trouble you as much now as it did then, and merely speed your condition to its end. You might wait for it to come on its own, of course, but when it comes, it will replace your sanity's last breath. Such is the nature of your condition.
Or you could learn it from someone who already knows.
It is said the gods made his memory perfect, that he may never forget his charge. If he ever knew, he still does.
Not that he would tell you, of course.
You have followed the right person for the wrong reason, it seems. We see it often beneath the elms. The soul dragging mind and body to unknown places for unfathomable reasons. You may have wandered into Theos' path many times, in many lifetimes, without an awakening to show you why.
The only thing that's certain is you did not find what you sought.
He has gone down beneath the tower to a place older than we, where the people of Engwith once walked. He makes his way to the buried city, sun and shadow.
May he stay down there and rot with the remains of his people.
He may yet. He won't be returning the way he came, that much is certain. He opened a secret path in the tower's base, and saw it destroyed behind him through some vile means.
We know of one. On the burial isle, through the court of the penitents, Braeth Yaman. A shortcut, in fact.
Don't be cruel, sister. The way my sister speaks of is not for the faint of heart. A great pit at the center of a forgotten court, where faiths were judged in place of crimes. To most, it is simply a gateway to death. With the help of the gods, it can take you where you want to go. The pit is said to have been a means of judgment by the gods. Those cast into it are meant to die. It is that way you must pass to reach Sun and Shadow. The court is old. We do not know much for certain, but it would seem only the gods themselves can grant passage. No more than a ruin now. It is older than we, a place for the trial of heretics. We were not here to witness it, but at one time there was a group that refused to acknowledge the gods. Neither the first nor the last, of course, but these were numerous and all put on trial for it. Those who did not repent were cast into the pit and imprisoned below. The fall killed them, of course. The prison was not for people but for their souls, and their sentences were eternal. It is said that many of the condemned repented and were permitted by the gods to ascend from the pit, so long as they pledged their service to one of them. But these are old legends. Behind us is Ter Evron, said to pierce the shroud itself and a place of communion with all gods. If ever there was a time for prayer, you have found it.
Not the only way. Just the only one that doesn't end with your body impaled on jagged rocks.
I would pray first to those gods you like best. I hope for your sake the feeling is shared.
None.
Ter Evron is also called the Hall of Stars, and the stars show us the allegiances of the gods. When stars are in conjunction, we know the gods they represent are aligned as well. You should choose a place to pray where you'll be closest to those you want to hear you. If a god stands alone, you should pray to that god. If they band together, you should address them all. Choose your words wisely, for all gods expect proper homage, and none has patience for fools. Before you go, tell me this, old one. I'm curious. If you were to subdue your enemy, what would you do with him? What would give you peace?
You would need to have twice as many lifetimes as he to repair his savage work.
All the same, think on this matter. Be assured in your course. In the end, it may mean all the difference, not just to his soul, but to yours. And be warned. Some questions have answers that can never be learned, and it is those that trouble the soul above all others. May you find an answer to yours.
Magnificent. scent of sweat, fur, loam, leaves, the discordant howls. I believe Gallowayne's herald approaches. Holy Hound himself! It's not just his herald, it's the Lord of the Hunt! Here!
My end comes to all things in time. Seal the frost-hewn breach, and instruct the pilgrims in the patience of Remergond.
Awakenings being permanent? Delamgon are right. You and I are stuck with our awakenings. Not quite the news I was hoping for. Yes, focus on the goal. A sensible perspective, particularly in the midst of such uncertainty. And while I hate to turn the subject back to myself, this all has me thinking about Isilmir. I'm stuck with her now. I suppose not, but hope is an unchaste mistress. I've been thinking about it a lot lately. About her recklessness, her unpredictability, about how my own irresolution is to blame. I need to start taking control, and that begins here. That's a charming way to think of things. And not an unpleasant one either. That reminds me of something else the Delamgon said. About the gods not being real. Yes, I suppose so. Still, I can't help but worry at the state we'd be in if that was somehow true. If there were no power guiding us in this life and shepherding us to the next. I hope you're right.
Estremor.
Builder's wisdom to you.
Greetings, Estremor. You are among the ovates of the Golden Grove. At least he chose someone who wouldn't wrap her intentions in trickery and lies. But what is a god that his voice should carry so far? And what are you that you should so eagerly obey? The gods only have dominion over what we cede, and you would cede matters of life and death to them.
Hail, Estramor.
Upon Burial Isle, the two men meet again for the first time, though it was the last thing they did. The many-colored beast rent them both asunder. They were, in death, merged and made whole again. Cute story. Two guys meet in the belly of a soul-eating creature. Maybe someday I'll eat two of the most insipid dear wooden lumberjacks, and they'll spend an eternity discussing beer whilst haunting my colon.
More.
Is not the water sacrificed unto the plant, and the plant sacrificed unto livestock, and livestock unto man? When the lesser soul is sacrificed to strengthen the greater soul, the whole of our family grows stronger. I suppose I get the argument. We all have to kill and eat, constantly for that matter, to live. This sounds like it's talking about the Blood Sands rituals. I wonder how, or even if, this is relevant to me.
As your blood flows, so shall your essence. Your life's energy shall feed the soil, and your soul's energy shall enrich the community. This is by your own choosing, supplicant? No one comes to Blood Sands without a purpose. What is yours? Since when do the gods send mortals to collect? You're much too talkative to be the usher. This is the trouble with deities. They meddle in a world that they don't even inhabit. I hope they've promised you something better for your next life.
Each generation, the Anumfoth must stand before the autumnal beast in judgment. The wise endure, passing on their strength. The weak are eaten, their souls ripped to pieces and lost for all time, removing such weakness from the cycle. Well, I guess maybe my tribe wasn't entirely wrong about my spirit form being some sort of soul terror. I suppose I was hoping to hear a different answer on the matter, but... As souls split into multitudes, many lives come from one. The truest of power comes from sacrificing the shard to return its strength to the Mother Stone. The many lives from one sounds familiar. I was taught that sometimes between death and rebirth, a soul splits perfectly in two, creating two viable souls from one. Sounds strange, but it makes sense when you think about how the population has risen in generations. It's kind of a mathematical necessity that some process like this is happening.
Tread carefully, Estermore.
Do people treat you badly because of how you look?
Are you kidding me? My face looks like a cautionary tale about the dangers of wild animals, and I'm even shorter than other Orlans my age. People just like to heckle me.
Don't ever let them. Be proud of who you are. They're the ones who should feel shame.
Sweet mother of Gallowayne! That's an impressive beast! Think we can slay it?
Vermin invading my nest, threatening my hatchling. You shall feed my young.
That's for my friend!
Stand together!
Go up the mountain. Well, what happened?
She means to say that we're both very relieved to see you're safe.
Yes, of course, that too. Praise the Sky Mother and thanks to you too. I told you that an attack was the way to go.
And the Queen of Birds saw fit to bless us with a capable warrior. It is a shame that such a rare champion of the skies had to perish. All winged life is sacred to our goddess. Still, it is better that we can return to worship at the nest. Thank you. Not to presume too much, but you might pray to Helia when you visit Terra Everon. She is grateful to all who aid her.
What have you done? This useless slaughter, Please, just let me finish what we came here to do. Rimergon's domain. A place where all things are mingled like snowflakes in a blizzard. It's a vortex of such chaos that even the beast of winter himself could not calculate the trajectory of the infinite particles of essence there. As souls are broken down over successive reincarnations, they become part of the White Void. It is a place where all things find perfect unity and freedom. The frost-hewn breach is a weak spot in the barrier between us and the White Void. Thin ice on a frozen lake. We've come from the white that wends to find it, so that we can die permanently. We've lived more lifetimes than any mortal should. We've been faithful followers of Rimergon since our earliest incarnations. He's the god of entropy. Why would he force us to be reborn again and again? But if anything could pass through the frost-hewn breach, it would enter directly into the White Void. This death is overdue for us. We just have to find a way through. We call ourselves Glomfellan. Most here know us as Pale Elves. We hail from the White that wends, a glacial continent at the southernmost edge of Eora. We received a watcher in our lands a season ago and paid her to tell us of the origins of our souls. We wanted to contemplate the essence that fills us, and consider how Remergond might shatter and sow us once our days are spent. We were not prepared for what we learned.